Welcome everyone. This is our weekly live Q&A. All right, so as you know, if you're new to this, you can ask any fitness questions you have in the chat. I'll go over them as I see them come up. I wanted to open today with kind of the theme. We're coming off of spring break for most people out here in Arizona. And I know in addition to that, a lot of people are coming off of illness. There's been some stuff going around that's been kind of wiping people out for a few days at a time. So I want to kind of talk about returning and getting back into your fitness, your workouts after a break, whether it be a vacation break, an unplanned break, like getting sick. Um, Things happen in life, unfortunately, that aren't always the way we wanted things to go. And it can sometimes be demotivating if you let it beat yourself up about the missing, about it being tough going back in, instead of just understanding that, like, give yourself some grace. If you missed a week because you were out of town, if you missed some time because you were sick, you may not be able to enter that first workout or two at the same level you were when you left off. What's important is that you're getting back to it. It's important to listen to your body, especially if you're returning, coming from an illness. It's different if you just took a week off to have a vacation and have fun. You're probably not going to be that far off of where you left off. But if you were sick, your body's working and fighting against that illness. You're probably going to come in a noticeable margin lower in ability than when you left off, especially if it's any sort of like respiratory or digestive type impact. So anything that impacts your breathing or your ability to eat, those are two primary impacts on your ability to perform, because we're either impacting your ability to take in nourishment, or we're impacting your ability to bring in oxygen and expel the carbon dioxide production from your activity. So either of those are going to diminish performance. So you have to give yourself some grace and understand that, like, maybe the first week back after being sick, not going to go quite at the same level that I was able to hit when I left off. What's important is that you're still getting back into it. Maybe it's a little rougher. Maybe you had to kind of, dial back the intensity or the difficulty on a few things. Maybe you couldn't go quite as long, or you needed more rest time in between sets. That's okay. What's important is that you're getting back into it. You're not letting, a few days off or a week off be an excuse to prolong staying off because you're not, quote unquote, ready yet. No one's going to be 100% when they're coming off of some time off, whether it be for vacation and fun, or if it be because of illness. Because if you were off for vacation and fun, odds are your eating might have been a little off. Sleep may or may not have been disrupted a little bit, depending on how much you traveled or how many other events and things you were trying to get to. Maybe you're a little more dehydrated because you were standing, outside in long lines for amusement parks, or maybe you went on a lot of hiking and camping. There's a variety of things that happen when we take time away from the gym that can deplete us a little bit. But that's okay, because part of the idea, if you're taking time off for a vacation, it's going to re-energize you other ways. If you had to take time off from being sick, let your body heal, get better, and then come back in. But know that, okay, I'm probably not going to be 100% at where I was before I got sick. That's okay. Even if you have to dial it back to 60 or 70%, what's important is that you're getting back into it. You're keeping the habit. You're keeping your routine going and progressing, rather than letting it be a continuous reason to slack off or quit the pursuit. That's the one reason why we talk about consistent persistence, because there's always going to be things that can disrupt us, that can throw us off. What's important is that we still persist through those obstacles and challenges to maintain that consistency. So just a few thoughts. As like I said, a lot of people are coming back off of spring break and or getting sick from some things that have been going around in the area. So wanted to offer a couple thoughts, experiences. I know it impacted my household too. What's important though is that you're still working your way back into it, because that's when we talk about lifestyle versus programs, is that you're back into your habit of regular activity, your regular exercise, your normal eating habits, as soon as we're essentially back in action. Understand, again, vacations come up. Sometimes we get sick and get disrupted. Sometimes we get disrupted because we're taking care of others in the household that are sick and we can't do exactly what we were doing. But what's important is that we're still sticking and honoring that commitment, that once things reset to normal, we're back in the routine. We're not letting it prolong time away from our healthy eating choices, our activity and workout actions that we've put into place for our habits. That's usually when you can kind of tell whether or not you're making it part of your lifestyle versus just a short-term program that you're following, is how quickly you pick it up after something takes you out for a bit. Just a few things to kind of think and consider. Haven't seen any other questions come in, so I'll go ahead and wrap up here for us for this week. So just think on that. Even if you're not coming back from time off right now, something to think about in the future as we get into summertime vacations and stuff. Vacations, breaks happen. What matters is that you're right back at it as soon as you're back in town and going back to your normal routines. Otherwise, just remember to keep that consistent pursuit of staying healthy and have a wonderful week.